got me out of my camera. But this thing, you've got the controls here, and you can take calls. I can play music, which is honestly the thing I use the most. I can get Honda heated grips for it that work through this thing for about $200 or a little bit less than that. So I'm probably going to buy those for the winter at some point, just not right now. I don't like this part of it either. The horn is down here, and it's just like an awkward place to put the horn. The turn signal's okay. They kind of jam too many things in this thing. I keep hitting this by accident sometimes. But to me, they should have swapped these two buttons. This should have been the horn. This should have been your mode button. Or, you know, put the mode button up here and make this whole thing the horn. You know, I can change the mode button like this. It's dumb the way they did that. But as you can see, I've been getting over the 524 miles, an average of 59.5 miles. But it actually gets better gas mileage than my Africa Twin. But I love this thing. It's just as tall as my Africa Twin, so if you're a short rider, I'm 5'8", and I kind of tippy-toe it, but the suspension on this one's just a little bit less than my Africa Twin was. So hopefully that will, or what it does is it allows me to sit just a little bit lower. I'm probably going to order a lowering kit to drop it 1 inch, which will help. And you can get a lower seat for it than what it's got, so I might order that as well. But man, this is a sharp bike. Everybody that's seen it at work and all that, they actually like this bike better than the Twin. And it worked out really well. I paid $7 grand for this bike in all reality. I paid $7, got to ride the Africa Twin for a while, wrecked the Africa Twin. I slid something like 90 feet. The deer ran out in front of me. I hit the deer. It threw the deer into a guardrail at a bridge, and then it bounced over the guardrail another 30 feet into the river behind it and killed the deer. And I'm pretty sure it was jumping when I hit it. There were 3 of them, 1, 2, and then I'd swerved around the other 2 and hit the 3rd deer. It jumped out in front of me, and it hit somewhere in this vicinity. It was jumping when I hit it, and it actually hit me in the chest, knocked me off the motorcycle. The motorcycle kept going, and well, so did I. But when I kind of got up, my helmet actually came off and was 30 feet back that way. So I hit, my helmet came off. Somehow, the grace of God, that's the only thing I can say is this was just the grace of God. I should have gotten a lot worse than I did. My wrist, I actually didn't go to the hospital, but I did break my wrist again. But it was just a fracture. So it was a little crunchy, but it seems to be healing well. I don't have quite as much range as I did, but it's doing better now. It actually was doing better, and then a week later I fell on it, and you could really tell then. And then a week after that I was helping somebody change tires over there, and then I fell on it again. So that really slowed down the healing. It didn't help, but I can use it. It works. It just hurts a little bit, but it's on its way to better. So, but yeah, that's what I've got. And tomorrow it will go on its maiden long voyage. I've still got the temporary tag on it. But I've had it since last Friday, and it's Tuesday, and I put 500 miles on it since then. I'll probably have 1,000 miles on it by Friday in all reality. So, you know, but it's awesome. So if anybody has these, I do have a couple of questions if anybody wants to comment. I've been told that the synthetic oil for these actually helps a little bit. It's, and with it being a brand new bike, I did change it with conventional oil this time, but I'm thinking about my future oil changes going to full synthetic. Mostly because I want to be able to ride. I ride this thing for hours a lot of times. I'll get off work and just ride around and have a good time. So I do a lot of riding on my motorcycle when I've got it. My mom was very upset that I bought another motorcycle. But, you know, it is what it is. I don't know what to tell you. I love motorcycles. I never thought I would. The sad part is all the stuff that I've got in my shop, this thing has captured my attention. Now, I am so grateful that I have a plasma table and the ability to whip up a quick and dirty bracket like this so I can get, you know, just for this trip, that literally this is just a temporary bracket to get me to my dad's this trip, and then I'm going to take it off and design a better one around it. So I don't really like the way this, you know, it sticks out really far, but I wanted something that would support that whole bag. So most of the bag's weight is going to sit here, but it needs a little bit of support. It's a little floppy, but it's pretty solid, and I put these returns on it. Normally, I'll either bend these with a press brake or I'll weld this closed, but I didn't really have time for that. I'm leaving tomorrow morning as early as I possibly can. So, you know, I'm just trying to make it work for now. I just put some returns. It gives a little bit more rigidity. And what's nice about a plasma table is I can just, you know, score it, bend it with a vise. I just literally took a vise and just slowly worked this bend in. I cut holes in it and stuff to just kind of lighten it up. I should have put some stuff in here, and I should have made this come a little closer to here than I did. But I designed this in 15 minutes, just quick and dirty. Measured these, cut a piece of cardboard with my laser to verify my hole spacing was right. It was. And then I came back and you know, just kind of threw some design in here to lighten it up. And what I'm going to end up doing is that which normally has been residing here is going to go here. And eventually, you know, this is my passenger seat. You know, after hitting that deer, I'm not 100% sure I want to carry a passenger. You know, after hitting that deer, how easily that could have been a major, major, major issue. If somebody was with me, they could have gotten killed, and I don't know I'm not sure if I'm going to carry a passenger. If I do, I'm going to be extremely careful and extremely safe. But I do like the fact that I can if I want to. But that's part of... dang, I already scratched my little doodad. Oh, never mind, that's goo. That's part of my trip to my dad's is to get my full motorcycle license when I took the MSF course. I actually took the MSF course a week after I hit the deer. I had it scheduled already. My wrist was really not feeling great, and it was a 2-day course. I should have taken the MSF2 or whatever, where it's a 1-day course, but I didn't know, so I took the 2-day course, which is like for beginners. If you take the MSF class that I took, it's 1 day of, you know, clutch control and all this other stuff that I already pretty much had down pat. And then the second day is, I guess, more advanced stuff, slow speed maneuvers, things like that. And then you do like a test, a written test and a road test. But what that gives me is the ability to skip the road test at the DMV. I just walk in and I'm pretty much done, as long as I show them that certificate thing that they gave me. So that's going to be a big reason I did that, and it actually drops your insurance rates, which is kind of nice. So either way, but yeah, I took that class. They noticed that I was banged up a little bit, and I had to tell the whole class about hitting the deer. They thought it was pretty entertaining. But yeah, this is my new motorcycle. I ended up selling my 250 to my buddy, mostly because I want a riding buddy. But I gave it to him just about. And, you know, after I was on that Africa Twin, after I've ridden this thing, that 250 feels like a tricycle. I like it, but it's not water. It's not, or it's air cooled. It's not water cooled. and I was always scared to death I was going to overheat the thing anytime I got in traffic or anything like that. So, and even in the woods, you know, if you're not really going fast in the woods. So my intention is I'm going to have this one, and my next one is probably going to be a used one, obviously. But I'm either going to look for a CB500X Honda, a Suzuki Veris 300, or a Honda 300L, I think, CRF 300L, maybe, or the CRF 300L Rally. It just depends on the price, but one of those three motorcycles will be my next motorcycle. I want something a little bit smaller. I'm kind of leaning toward the CB500X, like a 2022 model. I've seen those for about $5,000, and I figure if I can do that, then that'll give me, you know, something that will still keep up with traffic. I can take it on shorter trips if I want to. It actually gets a little bit better gas mileage, but this is going to be my main. If I had to pick one motorcycle and that's all, this is it right here. This will do all the things I want to do, short of woods, you know, really hard woods work. But this, I like the adventure motorcycles better. The one thing I do like about the CB500X is it's like 3 or 4 inches shorter, so I would absolutely be able to flat foot that one. The Veris is the same way. The 300L is not. It's basically the same height as this, but it's also a lot lighter. But that 300L would go 70 with me on it. My dad's got one of those as well. We have the same taste, apparently. So he bought one of these after he sold me the Africa Twin, because the Twin was just too big for him to handle at his age. It weighs a lot more than this one. This one feels so much more nimble. It's easier to get around. It's easier to back out of the shop when I want to go somewhere. It's just, you know, it's nice. I really like the motorcycle. And if I had to pick one, the Africa Twin or this, I pick this. If I could have both, I'd have both. But I think this motorcycle will do basically everything I want to do, and I really like the motorcycle. Like I said, my next mods are going to be auxiliary lighting. I'm thinking about replacing the horn with like a truck horn, so it's loud, so it scares people, and heated grips before winter gets here. So I've got... I rode my other motorcycles in the winter, in 20-degree weather. I'd ride them to work. But I've got a great winter setup. My summer setup is lacking. And one of the things that I found, I was wearing gloves. I don't know if I took them inside, but I was wearing gloves that have armor on the knuckle and armor here. It's like plastic that slides. I'd seen that in a video, that you want those plastic sliders on your palm because people break their wrists, because the glove catches and then turns in and snaps your wrist. Both of the sliders did exactly what they were supposed to do. When I hit the deer, I think I hit it with my wrist here. And, you know, a year ago is when that's where that scar came from. They had to actually put it back together, so it's been broken twice now in the last 2 years. But I don't think I broke it hitting the pavement. I actually broke it when I hit the deer, and it's just the impact, kind of like the same thing with the steering wheel. I had my hand around it and it just boom. But I will always wear gear from now on. I had gear on. I had a jacket, I had gloves, I had a helmet, obviously, but I was wearing blue jeans just like this. In the winter, I have pants that go over my pants, and they're insulated, and I'm telling you, man, you can ride in 20-degree weather with those pants on, and they're awesome. They will keep you warm along with other coats. So I've killed my jacket, when I wrecked it, destroyed the gloves. So I literally bought the same gloves. They did a great job. They're like $15, but they're summer gloves. They let they breathe. But my knuckles, the plastic that was on my knuckles was ground on both hands, just about completely off. This hand, you can see a little bit of a scar there. it ripped the glove. So it caught here and it ripped past the plastic thing here. But my knuckles were perfectly fine on this hand, but it got my finger a little bit here, which is already healed up, and it got my hand pretty good here. It got both elbows, but not bad. I had armor. I had elbow armor on, but I guess it slipped past it just enough. And then it got me, it was like I had no skin from here to here, and it's healed up quite a bit, but it really, that hurt. And the first thing I did when I got home, the cop got there. I called and reported the accident, and cop got there, did a incident report. It was like midnight when he got there. He's like, "Do you want to go to the hospital?" I said no, because I was fine. My dad always said, if you're going to be stupid, you better be tough, and I've gotten tough. So, one thing I will say about that, hey, there's a frog. What's up, Mr. Frog? I will not, and those are the gloves I was using temporarily in my MSF course because my other gloves got ripped up. But you can see on these, they have leather here, and then they've got armor here. The gloves that I bought are a hard plastic here and a hard plastic here. I don't like these because, again, that will grab. So when it hits your hand, it hits, and see, that grabs. And actually, that kind of grabs a little bit. But I had to have gloves, so I just went to Walmart that morning and grabbed these just so I had gloves. But I would not wear these they're better than nothing. I'll take these over nothing, but that will break your wrist because that grabs right there. So I'm keeping these for working, but they're kind of useless for motorcycle. The hard plastic, I'm telling you, if it weren't for those gloves, I will never ride a motorcycle on the road without gloves ever again. I've done it. I'll never do it again. If it weren't for those gloves, I would have been in the hospital. It would have ground my knuckles on both of my hands. My hands would have been unusable for a month or more. I have no idea how much more damage it would have done, but those gloves saved my hands. It saved me a hospital bill. I don't have health insurance. I do, sort of, but it's like a $10,000 deductible, so I really can't afford to go to the hospital. Thanks, America's great health care system. But, I just mostly tough stuff out, but I'm telling you, those gloves made a huge difference. I generally wear cotton t-shirts. I ordered these off of Amazon for the summer. These wick heat off of you. So essentially what I've done for tomorrow is I've ordered several of these shirts. I have them basically soaking wet in a Ziploc bag. So I can stop, swap shirts, and go to a soaking wet shirt. And I'm going to time it tomorrow. But I'm telling you, today it was 95 degrees, super humid, and it felt like I was sitting in the AC with this shirt. It doesn't seem to last super, super long. But what I did is I actually bought a spray bottle so I can kind of reapply. And I'm going to take a small cooler with drinks and ice and stuff like that in it, mostly bottled water, so I can just pour the water over my chest. That makes a huge difference. And then I've got a mesh, like summer armored thing. It came with a liner, so that'll be nice in like the fall. But right now, it's hot. But I've also ridden, so when I first got my new motorcycle, I just rode with gloves because that's what I had, and my helmet. I didn't want to because, I didn't want to break my elbows if I got into an accident. But for a few days I did that until my jacket came in. I ordered, it just took too long for my jacket to get there, and I wanted to ride my motorcycle. So I did. I was just careful and slow. But when I got my jacket in, what I found is when I was riding with just the gloves, I got sunburnt on my arms, and I was hot. I was still hot. It's, It was a little bit better, but I was still hot. I'm going to order some more of these shirts that are long sleeve. I should have ordered some long sleeve ones. But if you wear this shirt under the mesh jacket and the gloves and you soak this down, and I've got pants coming that are summer pants. They're mesh and they're armored. So they've got, knee stuff and all that kind of stuff. And they fit tighter down here. My other pants, it ripped from here down pretty much off on that leg. So hopefully those other pants will help and they'll actually keep me cooler. So the pants, these are the same boots I was actually wearing when I slid down the highway. I had this little Olight. I love these flashlights. These things are awesome. You've got super bright. You can just barely press it. It's not as bright. You've got a button here. They're rechargeable. And that slid 90 feet down the highway with me and survived pretty well. Still using it. So, and my Icon knife, it broke the clip off. And the beauty of Icon is I walked right back into Harbor Freight with a broken knife and they gave me a brand new one. So I love these knives and I love the fact that they've got a lifetime warranty. But either way, so there's all that. I know I'm rambling. I'm just trying to update. It's been a while since I've done any videos. When I got the motorcycle, I just did nothing but ride the motorcycle. I also, I was getting eggs for some older people. We were getting like 18 eggs a day. There's one of the boxes that came off of my other motorcycle, and it was like here on the other one. And I'm actually thinking about making a bracket that will match to this, and then I've got a nice box that'll go on the back that I can lock and everything. So either way, there's that. But I would fill that with like 5 or 6 dozen eggs every week, and I would go out to a bunch of older people and I would deliver eggs to them every week, and I'd sit down and talk to them and all that. Well, when I wrecked my bike, for one, I felt horrible. And right around the time I wrecked my bike, my chickens all decided they didn't want to lay eggs. And so I've had some people angry with me because I wasn't bringing them free eggs. But now that I've got this thing, and my chickens are finally beginning to lay eggs again, hopefully I can start taking people some eggs again. But I actually enjoyed that. Every Sunday I would take it out and I'd do that. And it was a lot of fun. And I enjoyed seeing some of those people and talking to them. So, but before tomorrow, that's going here. My backpack is going to get strapped here with a cooler, and hopefully I'm going to have enough room for all of that from here to here. My Africa Twin had boxes on the side, and on the top. And you could put all kinds of crap in that thing, plus strap, in this area against the box. So I had plenty of cargo space, but I didn't like the boxes on the side. I ended up using them, but I didn't like them. So I don't think I might go with soft luggage for this. That will kind of hang down here and hang down on the other side. One thing that's nice about this is if it hangs down, it's not going to get into the exhaust. It's going to hang, hopefully down like right in this area on both sides. So if I've got luggage that does that, plus, maybe a box on top, probably that one, then hopefully I'll be good. And we'll see. But I'm going to take this thing. Hopefully I'm also going to start doing some camping with this motorcycle as well. So as my kids have gotten older, they kind of have their own lives, and I get to kind of do what I want to. It's funny, my daughter said, "Dad, I'm glad you got a motorcycle." She said you were sort of withdrawing, and when you got your motorcycle, you could tell it really relieves a lot of stress. And I never thought I'd be into motorcycles, ever. Thought it was the dumbest thing in the world. Didn't see why people got on them and all that stuff. And now I'm crazy guy that is driving in 20-degree weather and 95-degree weather, and I have been all over the place on these things. I love exploring on a motorcycle, even if it's around here. But I will absolutely recommend this motorcycle just as it is. I do think they should have for some reason in North America, you don't have the option of fog lights. You don't even have the wiring for it, apparently. I'm going to verify that, but I can wire all that crap up. What I'm going to end up doing is setting it up to where my fog lights are going to come on. It's going to have one here, one there, and I thought about actually bringing an additional bracket from here to here under those two and having a third like flood light here. So when I've got the what do you call them, the lights on, the high beams on, it will hit a relay which will then trigger these lights to turn on. So it's not pulling off of the high beam circuit. It will be coming directly from the battery to a relay. That relay will be triggered as a signal when that wire is turned on. So I've just got to find whichever one that is. I'm going to figure out which plug it is, and then I'm going to make like a little adapter plug that will adapt into it and then give me a signal wire coming out of it. And that signal wire will go to my relay, which will then feed my lights here. But I want to be able to see to my side, and I want to flood, and I want a they make them where it's like a flood and focus, so you can see really far and it floods. I also thought about doing a flood on one side and a focused on the other. Maybe a focused here that's pointed sort of off to the side, and then a flood that's kind of pointed away from oncoming traffic as much as possible, but maybe low so I can see all around when I'm riding at night. Because I'll be honest with you, that was a blessing from God. It was the grace of God that I didn't die. And I am so grateful that I didn't, but I don't want to repeat that. So when I ride at night, I will not outride my headlight ever again. So, but either way, I've been rambling for forever. I am going to set up, my Helm radio stuff at some point. I'm going to try to figure out a way to set up my Helm radio stuff. One thing I love about this, by the way, if you take the seat off, the battery's right here. You can jump it. And actually, I've got an air compressor in there, but I'm going to replace it. It's a little battery air compressor for the tires. I'm actually going to replace it with one I found that's an air compressor and a jump box and like a flashlight and a battery bank and like a bunch of different things all in one. So I'll be able to jump this off if I ever kill my battery. It's got a USB-C port back here for some reason. And what I'm going to do is whenever I get all of this figured out and I have more of a permanent setup on the back, my little air compressor thing, I'm going to have power running to where when you flip the key on, it will automatically begin to charge and keep that thing charged. And when you flip the key off, it disconnects. And essentially what that'll allow me to do is I will always have, as long as I've been riding, a fully charged jump starter in the box that will be able to jump the motorcycle off if I need to. So that'll be kind of cool. My Africa Twin, you had to take this off, you had to take a bunch of other crap here off, and then it was really painful to get to the battery that was under there. Everything is very accessible under the seat. Your fuse box, your battery, all that crap. If you want to fill up your radiator fluid, the thing's in there. But again, I'm tickled to death with this motorcycle, and I will hopefully have this thing for the rest of my life. So, but yeah, I'm telling you, motorcycles are awesome. I get 60 miles to the gallon. I didn't realize how much gas money I was saving. I used to ride my motorcycle to work every day, sometimes even in the rain. I actually got a rain suit. I actually need to get that on, my dad gave me that truck. We call it America, and it's red, white, and blue. So red, white, and the doors are blue. I've got the cab that came with that. I'm actually going to take the whole cab off and drop the red cab on, so I'll end up with a red truck. But he gave me this truck. He put a brand new crate motor in this thing, and it runs like a top. I had actually rebuilt the 5-speed in it, and here are the gloves that I was talking about. These are the gloves I've got, and you can see I'm going to give these to my dad. These are a little bit larger. He's got bigger hands than I do, but see, it's got armor. This is plastic. You've got a hard plastic thing right there. So I'm going to actually give these to my dad, and I'm going to take my rain suit with me as well. So, yay. But yeah, my dad gave me this truck, and thank God he did, because right after he gave me this truck, I drove that to the mountains. You can see the oil that's leaking, and it developed a horrible oil leak, and the clutch went out on it. So this is my only vehicle that I'm really driving right now, so that's great. It's fantastic. It's a great truck. I'm so thankful for it. And again, my kids are starting to get their licenses and stuff, so this is really all I need. I've got this truck as well, but I've got to do some work to it, and I've got to tag it, and the tag's like $700, which sucks. There's my helmet that came off. You can see where I hit the road right there, but it got trashed. Crap, what did I drop? Oh. But either way, here's my chickens over there. So, yeah, I was just updating people on all the crap that's been going on in my life and why I've not really been posting and all that stuff. So, I don't know if anybody cares, but there you go. So, y'all have a fantastic evening, and if you have any questions, ask away. Have a good day. Bye.